crack myself up. I still haven't found my first Blanton's.
That's different. I really like that.
They're like together, like peas and carrots.
That's funny. Sometimes accidents are good things. Peychaud's or Peychaud's or Peychaud. This is not what I expected. Hey, how's it going? You know that commercial where they say life comes at you fast? Life's been coming at me fast. That's just the way you feel. So you may have seen the picture that I did of Jacob's Pardon #1. You know, Jacob's Pardon is about bootlegging. So I was thinking about cars. Well, right now my son's car is in pieces up in the garage. He blew a head gasket in his car, and a friend said, you know, we got an estimate to get it fixed, and it was stupid. So my friend said, look, I think I can fix it. Give me a shot. And you know, at the end of the day, if he screws it up, then I'll just buy the kid a new engine, and that'll be the end of it. But so that's what the picture was all about. So his car's in pieces in the garage, and they're up there working on it now, trying to pull the engine out. Dad, I can't find my bolt. So life's been coming at me fast. So I will really enjoy this drink. I'm going to tell you what. I am going to join this. What we got? We got people talking. Jordan Sines and Paul Smith, hello. Good day, mate. Howdy. Paul, I'm glad you're with us. I hope you're on break at work. So this is Jacob's Pardon #1. Batch #1. Now, you know that we've already tried Jacob's Pardon Batch #2, and I like this one a lot. This is a little bit more traditional. This one is not, and there are people who have said, I don't like it. Well, I'm going to try it, and I'm going to tell you what I think of it. And we're going to talk about it a little bit. We've talked about this before, and I'm going to kind of nutshell it while we're going through this. This is a product of Palm Bay International. Mark Taub is the CEO there, and his great uncle Jacob Taub and his brother Little Abner, were bootleggers in Prohibition era and eventually went to prison for their time. They were in there for about 6 years. They were formally pardoned by FDR, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, at some point. And Mark Taub somehow discovered the actual document that pardoned his uncle, and a new whiskey was born, Jacob's Pardon. They recruited a master distiller named Paul, I'm not going to be able to say the guy's last name, Pacult, P-A-C-U-L-T, Pacult, to be their master blender and to sort through literally 8,000 barrels that they had of 15-year-old light corn whiskey from MGP and some 8-year-old Tennessee whiskey stock from George Dickel that the Taubes had amassed, and they had to figure out what to do with it. So, in the first batch, that's what we're drinking now, Jacob's Pardon bought 56 of the 15-year-old light corn whiskey from Indiana, MGP. And the mash bill on all that was 99% corn and 1% malted barley. So if you don't like corn whiskey, you may not like this one, right? We all know how Kevin feels about mellow corn. He may hate this, but I'll tell you if I think it's the same. I ought to go over and get that mellow corn and see if it's the same. They became the initial single barrel releases from the brand, bottled at cask strength in very limited quantities. This is not cask strength. This is 97.1 proof. The other 54 barrels were blended with 9 source barrels of 8-year-old Tennessee sour mash, that's George Dickel, to create Jacob's Pardon small batch recipe #1. It is very light in color. Looks a lot like a corn whiskey I know very well. This is an 8-year-old. It's a blend of the MGP and Dickel. This is experimental. Batch 2 was also an experiment, and I understand they're going to keep experimenting. That's what I hear. And that's all the information really I have about it. Howdy. All right. Okay, first thing on the nose is it's sweet, but it's young. I know it said it's 8 years. but for 97 proof, it smells young. Now, this is a light corn whiskey, and from what I read, light corn whiskey can be a little bit hard to drink. It's normally proofed at higher levels and then can be blended with younger whiskeys that help round it out. And that's what they essentially did here. All right. Yeah, it's got a very sweet nose, but at the same time, it doesn't. Ethanol is really present on it. I'm getting maybe some clove. There's a little bit of a mint that's there. It's like mint leaves. Aaron's watching. Hey, Aaron, how are you? I hope you're enjoying your time away. He's been sharing photos from a trip, and it looks like a fantastic trip. There's a little bit of cinnamon in there. There just isn't a whole lot of nose there. You really got to look for stuff. I mean, it's that corn, that sweetness, that ethanol that's in there is kind of over top of everything, and you got to really look for other stuff. There's a spice in there. I would probably guess that's from the malted barley, because corn doesn't have that. All right. I'm searching some things like, okay, do I get peanuts? No. Do I get bubble gum? No. Do I get black cherry? No. I'm kind of going through the inventory of of things that I normally either taste or smell, and I'm checking off, skipping more boxes than I'm checking off, I guess. There's a really light fruit note. This is one of those things you go back to it every time and you get something different. That's why I keep going back to it. But still, there's that ethanol and the corn is that sweetness of the corn. All right, let's give this a try. Okay. That feels kind of decent. It didn't have a bloom per se. You got it on your tongue, and it coated the whole tongue. And that burn was present the whole tongue. But after I swallowed it, it kind of went forward on my tongue, towards the tip, which is weird. That's new. I've never had it travel forward. Normally that burn, that bloom, travels out to the sides or back or up. This came forward. So the mouthfeel's kind of nice. It's not thin. I kind of thought it smelled young, but I'm not getting that feeling in the mouth, which is nice. All right, let's get some flavors now. Okay, this is going to be one of those weird occasions where I'm not going to be able to pick out a lot of flavors. But I will tell you I like the way this tastes. I can't tell you why. That's a song, by the way, from the Eagles. I can't tell you why. Oh, baby. That's almost Bee Gees. That's not the Eagles. Anyway, I'm going to try to find something that I can relate to you. But this is a very unique pour. I like the way it tastes. I like the way it feels in my mouth, but I can't identify the flavors. I'm going to have to go over there and get the mellow corn and compare the two. Really. Okay. A little bit of hazelnut. The sweetness of that corn is coming through, but it's not too sweet. You know, it's got a nice balance between the, I mean, it's 99% corn and 1% malted barley. The malted barley that's there is what's giving it some extra flavor and doing some cool things. Is this non-chill filtered? I didn't see anything about that, but let me see what I can find. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, here's what they say. Their notes are on the bottle. Rich aroma of buttered sweet corn. I'm not getting butter, but I like the idea. Brown sugar and espresso precede the tangy taste that's deep in baked ham. Vanilla bean and cinnamon bun flavors. I might be able to agree with the cinnamon bun. Texture is lush and silky. It's not that viscous. I wouldn't go so far as to say that it's lush and silky, but it is somewhat silky. It's got a nice mouthfeel. Aged for a minimum of 8 years. I think, Paul, to answer your question, oh, here it is, non-chill filtered. That's probably why I like the mouthfeel of it. It is non-chill filtered. There's a whole lot going on there. Wow, I know, Jordan. Now, I'm not getting everything that this says it's there, and I know that my palate's not off because I haven't eaten anything. So, baked ham, that's interesting. You would think that if I'm getting baked ham, I'd be getting something salty off of this. And I cannot say that I identified anything salty. Now, you've been here when I've tasted things that I thought had salt in them. There's been a few. I'm not going to say this is one of them. But I'm going to look for ham and buttered corn. I'm going to look for Thanksgiving is what I'm going to look for in this. And see if I can find ham and buttered corn. That's some of the strangest. Buttered corn makes sense. It's a corn whiskey, but that's kind of silly. All right, here we go. You know, if you look for it, it's easier to find. I do still get some corn flavor. It's not buttered corn. But if I really reach for it, I could see where they might say ham. It's got this, it's not salty. It's just, I can see it. I would never have been able to pick that out on my own had I not read the side of the bottle. And, you know, suggestions go a long way. You know, if I told you that I got blueberries out of it and your palate wasn't very refined, you might go, yeah, I taste blueberries too. That's pretty good. And I don't taste blueberries in it. But to be suggested that there might be a little bit of a ham overtone, as weird as that is, maybe that's why I like it. I love ham. All right. Okay, I'm going to go get the mellow corn. Give me a second here. All right. Okay. I did bring down another glass, but I brought it down for something else, so I'm going to save it for something else. This has been opened. We had it recently. I just want to see where it stacks up. I remember this being a lot more corn flavored and a lot more sweet. So, let's see if I'm right about that. Now, I think this is 100% corn. I don't think there's any malted barley in this. It doesn't say, but I think it's 100% corn whiskey. Okay. Completely different. So, yeah, I get corn husk. You know that silky green crap that comes off the side of the... Yeah, that's what I get on this. And I got this last time I tried it, too. This is much sweeter. And, yeah, that's a corn. That's corn. That's all corn. All corn. All right, so back to this. I'm going to take another swig of this, and I'm going to add some water to it. Is that one or two? That's one. Okay. The problem is now I've tasted something different. That's all right. Okay. This is a fresh crack. I didn't let this sit. I didn't pour it out. I haven't. This is the first time I've tasted it. So I wanted to let you know that because the Jacob's Pardon number 2, I did it that way. So I wanted to be fair to this one and do it that one the same way. I didn't want to give it any benefit or any coaxing. All right. I think I've got the mellow corn out of my mouth now. Yeah, I like this. There are some cinnamons in there. There's maybe just a slight, because of the barley, there's a fruit note, and I can't tell you really what it is. Hey, Daniel, I'm glad you're with us. We're doing a Jacob's Pardon Batch No. 1. It's basically a corn whiskey with 1% of malted barley, and it's quite tasty. It's got a really nice mouthfeel. It's tough to pull out notes, and you know, not every whiskey is going to let you do that very well. There are some notes that are starting to come out, especially after I did the mellow corn and I compared it to this. There are some different notes that are appearing. See, compared to that one, I get black cherry now, because that one is just so different. All right, I was going to add water to it, and I drank too much of it. All right, so a little water. Maybe I can open it up and get a little more out of it. I was not able to find this one. This was Jacob's Pardon Batch 1. I have not been able to find this one. And I went over the border looking for the chicken cock double oaked. And when I got there, I saw this one. They had this one and they had number 2, and I already had a number 2. I didn't have a number 1, and I've been wanting to try this one for a couple of years, and I found it, so I'm really excited to finally get to try it, and I'm really excited that I like it, to be truthful. Yeah, I added water, okay. All right. I can't say that adding water did anything for it. It didn't hurt it. It didn't help it. I don't think it really opened anything up. I mean, there's a slight caramel flavor, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of vanilla. The things that you would normally like about a bourbon are there. They're just really far down in there. It's just a nice drink. If you're getting into it and you want to taste it, you're not. I think you should get this, taste it, and tell me what you find in it. I would love to find out what you get out of it. I'm not getting anything really specific out of it like I would other things. It is not a complex pour. You're not going to taste this every time and go, oh, I get this. Oh, I get this. You're not going to do that with this. I didn't do that with this. Let me put it to you that way. You might. I didn't. But that being said, I like it. All right. So I'm not going to bother to put it on ice because it didn't do anything on water. I'm not impressed with the water. I mean, it didn't kill it, which is nice. But I'm just not going to waste the ice on it. So what I am going to do, though, is I'm going to compare to this back to Jacob's Pardon Batch No. 2, which you already know I like. I'm going to go back upstairs where they're working on my son's car. How you been? Somebody call her mother. I want her to come over. All right. Let's go to number 2. Batch No. 2. Again, the mash bill on batch No. 2 is 70% corn, 22% rye, and 8% malt. They still use the corn whiskey from MGP, and they still use the Dickel. It's just blended differently, with a lot less corn and a lot more other stuff. So this would be Dickel Distillate that has not been through the Lincoln County process. It is non-chill filtered, right? Lincoln County process puts it through charcoal filtering, but they can also do chill filtering on it. That doesn't change the designation of Tennessee whiskey. But this has not gone through the Lincoln County process or chill filtering. All right, so this is number 2. That's a flavor bomb compared to the other one. Gosh, that's good. Boy, yeah, that's popping with flavor. I got somebody texting me. I gotta get rid of that crap. Yeah, that's good. That's good. There's caramels coming out of that. There's honey in that. Definitely a nice, not as much, but a little bit of cinnamon. Yeah. Now I'm comparing this to number 1. And the honey in this is just popping for me. The cinnamon is too a little bit. The vanilla is nice. This is a great pour. Jacob's Pardon number 2 is a great pour. I really like this one. Now, let's go back to number 1. Now let's finish this one first. Gosh, that's good. All right. Now back to number 1. See if I can get anything out of it now that I've compared it to number 2. There's just a little bit left. Prepare. Yeah, corn. But not as corny and silky and that silk and leaf stuff as this. I like this though. I mean, I don't hate it. Kevin was here. He tried it again. He hated it again. Kevin. All right. Yeah, the two are night and day. So different. So completely 100% different between number 1 and number 2. Number 2 is a superior pour. Number 1 is a decent pour. Now, again, you might not like it, but it's not like this. I do like it. I like the way it tastes, and I like the mouthfeel on it. But it's not going to be for everybody. And I've actually seen that online where people have talked about it. It's certainly not for everybody. All right, so let me go to my list, and I'll tell you what's coming up next week. So I asked, I'm not going to be here on May 4th. I've got an event to go to, so I've asked what day would be a great replacement for that, and Kevin is the only one who got back with me and said May 1st. So if that works for you, let me know. If it doesn't work for you, let me know. I will choose the most popular pick of the day. I would love to be here for May the 4th, be with you. Don't get me wrong, but I've got another event, and I gotta go to that. Next week, we are going to be drinking. Oh, I've been looking forward to this one. And it's way over there. All right. I get it, because I'm excited. You ready? You ready? All right. Yeah. We're going to be visiting the grandpa. Old granddad bonded. Hello, Granddad 114. Yeah. So, pardon the extra voices. I fancied myself a voice actor. I always wanted to go to Hollywood and do like cartoons and stuff. That would be really fun. Anyway, so finally, after all this time, I have had a bottle of 114 here for a couple of years, and I've never tried it. And I keep hearing how wonderful it is. And I do like Old Granddad, particularly in old fashions. That's where they're typically found, is Most of the time, a bar will make an old fashioned. This is their well drink for that. This is their well whiskey for that. Is Old Granddad. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do this next Thursday. All right. So this is not hard to find. Go out and get a bottle of it, and join me. Drink along with me. That's where a lot of the fun exists. Is when you try it with me and give me your notes. Remember, I may not taste something you taste, and there's something about that communal exercise of drinking whiskey together that this person picks this out, this person picks this out. There's some people that'll pick out the same note in everything they drink. I sometimes do that, but I think it's because I'm looking for that stuff. When something pops, it pops. So anyway, this will be next week. I'm looking forward to it. I hope to see you here for it next Thursday right here on Beautiful Bourbon. And in the meantime, I hope you have a fantastic what's left of your week, and we will see you next week.